afternoon. I'm here with a group of my esteemed colleagues. We're at Autodesk University 2019. Thought we'd give you a bit of a summary as to what's happening what has been happening over the past couple of days. Let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, my name's Stan Przybylinski. I'm with CIMdata.
I'm Chad Jackson, Lifecycle Insights.
Jim Brown with Taxal.
And Allan Behrens from Taxal, as you'll know me. So what do we think of today? Jim?
Exciting day. I've really been excited to hear everything that's been going on with Autodesk. Some great updates on the convergence, really, of design and manufacturing, a continued progression in that direction, and a lot of exciting things with different tooling options and additive manufacturing and hybrid manufacturing and that kind of thing. So love to see those things continuing to come together.
Great. Chad?
Probably a few different things. I think the ECAD stuff in Fusion is really interesting.
Yeah.
I think they're really the first one to offer a truly kind of integrated solution. I think that was great. I think the integration of a priori into the generative design kind of opens up a whole new set of opportunities. I'm glad to see the MBD support. That's kind of been gaining momentum as a trend. I'm glad to see Autodesk supporting that. Those are probably top three takeaways right now.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I think the a priori is big too. I've done some work with them in the past. It could actually help a priori in some ways more than Autodesk because it will take away the cost barrier, because subscribing to parts of a priori can be quite expensive.
Right.
It will also introduce more people to their technology.
Yeah.
The ANSYS partnership as well is exciting. Autodesk has invested a lot in simulation, but there's still a lot that they need to have as part of their portfolio, so ANSYS can possibly bring that to them.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I think the ANSYS relationship's just the beginning. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's coming up to nearly a year after they've had the relationship with PCC. So one can see the live product is something that you ask the words, and the ANSYS people go, oh, we can't talk about that yet. So obviously something's happening.
Yeah.
So
it would make a lot of sense to bring the Discovery Live functionality
Discovery
to the
Live
Fusion portfolio.
Yeah, but there is a exclusivity period, I think, with PCC. So,
is there?
I
Okay.
believe so.
So let's talk about that if we can for a second.
Sure.
Like,
Well,
what is that?
I mean, just before we do,
Yeah.
my two penneth, the electronic stuff is very interesting because that is potentially unique.
Yeah.
It seems to be more embedded.
I just sent a question to Siemens to ask them about the integration of NX and Mentor to see if they can do that.
This is different. You see, this is actually the embedded PCB design. It's sort of a stage beyond the SolidWorks product that they've got with.
I agree. So like NX and Expedition are two completely different products.
Yeah.
Very mature. I don't see how they could ever become one. I don't think they can ever converge. Same thing with Capital.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of advanced functionality there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it would make sense. I think what you're seeing with Eagle and what they've done here at Autodesk is it's a simpler set of tool that kind of covers 89 to 90% of the use cases. And you can integrate
PCB.
For PCB, yeah.
For the sort of mid-sized market, I think it's going to be very good.
Yes.
The mid-sized market
Agreed.
is going
So
to
you
be
can do that,
Yeah.
right, in that kind of space. So,
Yeah.
but the ANSYS stuff. So I'm interested to get your perspectives on this because, like, it's ANSYS Mechanical, which is more the expert analyst capabilities of that solution set, not Discovery Live. So what's the workflow look like? Is it, hey, use Autodesk simulation and generative design stuff, and then use Mechanical for the expert analyst and kind of make it easier for that workflow? Or
I get the idea that they don't expect people to use the Autodesk simulation technologies. I think this is a
really
push it out, do the simulation, bring it back in.
okay.
I mean, that's the impression I get just from the discussions.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about the Autodesk simulation technologies. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
asked the
that's
question.
interesting.
I asked the question yesterday, and Andrew said, "Well, we've been integrating that stuff into Fusion." Well, the other big thing for me, and I asked about this the last couple of years, is the integration of the Delcam technology.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Okay,
that's used because the HSM works stuff is
Right.
not commercial grade. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice for certain applications, but Delcam is a leader in CAM, so.
Yeah, Delcam stuff's very good. I mean, I have to say that because I'm British, but it is very sophisticated. I mean, but if they can do the Eagle stuff, then one would assume they can do the CAM. You know?
So, another interesting thing too that I've been kind of keeping an eye on while I'm here is the whole data management side of things and the
Yeah.
PLM side of things. And, I think finally actually in this last session heard a little bit more clearly that, Vault in the cloud isn't necessarily the direction, but there is a more unified approach to data management, process management on top of that's coming.
Yeah.
But it will be in the Fusion direction, and it will be cloud-based, and that will be, the multiple options will start to become more unified in a federated way, not entirely one data model, not entirely one
Yeah.
solution, but at least access centrally.
That's a long road, I think, too, right? I mean,
That's
it's
what
gonna
it
take
sounds
a
like.
long time to get there, because there are, let's be frank, there's a lot of different sources of data, and Autodesk customers, they use a lot of other sources of data, right? So
Exactly.
I don't know. The idea of
How far
having
does
a
any cat go
unified,
in terms of being able to
And by the time they
bring
get
in-
there, maybe it'll be all Fusion and all the data will be in the cloud anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting actually. The difference between yesterday and today is quite stark actually. I mean, yesterday I heard, well, PLM doesn't exist anymore. We're just not going to do that. And I was going, sorry.
He didn't say it didn't exist. When he said he said that
it's going to change. It's going
as
to
it
change.
existed.
it wasn't as important
Yeah.
because it would be handled in the cloud as
You
part
know,
of it. It was a platform. It was a
It's a
platform
platform story.
Yeah.
But, I mean, telling people, well, you're going to get rid of the acronym is going to worry some people that have already got it.
Right.
No, that's not really true. I mean, we ask that question all the time. We ask it in surveys, and the PLM acronym is becoming less important.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of baggage.
Oh, it has a ton of baggage.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of baggage. Yeah.
But I was heartened to hear them say something that I always say, that anybody that makes a product does PLM,
Yeah.
right? You were doing PLM when you had drawings and all of that. Now we just have digital tools to support it.
Yes.
And, part of the problem with PLM is there's so many damn tools. And Autodesk has that in spades, right? That's,
Number one tool, Excel.
Well,
that's right.
it's-
On every
It's the one
service.
down tool.
I mean, the challenge is the rigor. I mean, nobody actually especially the youth, do not want to do it because it's the rigor is against.
Did you
the
just say
very
kids
innate-
today?
No, I said
Kids,
the youth.
the
I said
youths, the
I
youths.
said the youth.
Kids today.
But it is. There's a generational.
Okay, boomer.
There's a generational problem. I mean, it is a generational problem. I mean, the companies have to have their staff using these types of technologies to get through the regulatory compliance that they need to adhere to.
Well, there's a big
But there
difference.
is the younger generation don't care.
No, I think eventually, there are certain types of things, and I don't know what all of them are, right? But there's certain types of things that you have to do no matter how right? There has to be
Yes.
configuration management, there has to be some sort of release process, there has to be some sort of
Change control,
change
yeah.
process.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of things, and
And vaulting and
and data, there's some things you have to do, but the way that they've been done in traditional tools has been kind of clunky.
Yeah,
So there is
and it's
opportunities.
changing over time.
Yeah, there is some opportunities. So if you look at, Onshape, for instance, they've done away with many of the things that traditional PDM systems would do.
And that's Fusion's got that built in as well. I mean, that's what I asked at the end of the session today. We had a deeper dive on the mechanical technologies today. We asked the question, didn't we? Is Fusion going to still have those release management technologies? And the answer is yes. Exactly the same actually as Onshape, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I mean, was there anything unique about today that you saw? Outside, I thought the EDA, the electronic
Yeah.
stuff was
Yeah.
unique.
I don't think people recognize that for what it probably is going to be,
Yeah.
the implications of it.
So
And-
did
and
they
every-
rewrite
every-
Eagle for the cloud?
That's what it sounded like.
It's
Because
got-
that's what you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, but I think what you can explicitly see is that it runs in a browser, right? And switching back and forth between the ECAD side of things and the mechanical side of things is going to be seamless, and the data moves back and forth. Now, how efficient is it underneath? I don't know.
But was it a window or was it embedded into Fusion?
I
It
think
looked
it's in a
embedded.
browser.
It looked embedded.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the demo. So we haven't seen the demo.
More on that
Very
later.
speculative right now.
Oh, we saw pieces of a demo on the screen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell on a giant screen from far away exactly what's going on.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it is a video, so
Yeah.
Yeah. And a priori generative is,
Yeah.
I think that's unique. I think that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff I saw yesterday on stage regarding generative for, I don't know, factory floor.
Oh yeah,
That
for
was
the
pretty
layout and flow analysis.
yeah, they've been doing that
Yeah.
for a while, and I've talked about that for a while. That's very different from what the other people are doing. The objective function that they're trying to optimize on is very different from other people that are just focused on
Graphic geometry,
volume
geometry.
and material and stress.
Yeah.
However, let me say this: I do think that what Siemens is doing with the generative engineering capabilities is a little bit more in line with
What Siemens
we're
is
doing here.
talking about doing with generative engineering.
Well, I mean, they do
It was
have
a
some-
vision that they put out last year, and at the analyst event this year, I don't remember that phrase being uttered.
Oh, I do. I remember hearing it a lot.
But I
This
saw,
year?
I saw with
This
regard
year, yeah.
manufacturing, but not process, not the factory floor process.
No, not factory
You
floor.
didn't-
I'm
you
talking
didn't-
about
You didn't see the
capital.
flow thing that they were doing in Airbus
so,
yesterday.
No.
yeah.
Well, I saw part of it on Twitter.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes, so I know what you're talking about with
On the
the
Twitter
flow
page.
across the floor.
Yeah, and they've showed stuff like that before.
But the whole idea around, like, in capital, they're using generative engineering to assess what is the right way to set up, your diagram for
Yeah,
electronics
to
and electrical
optimize-
systems.
Yeah, to optimize
And
the
it's more,
harness. That was,
it's more generic. It's not mechanical geometry. It's more abstracted at a higher level, which is what I see this as.
But it's still to build a product, right? That's all in service of building an electromechanical product, which generative design and Autodesk, they do some of that, but they also do factory layout, site layout.
And
Well, at least
and
at least that's what they're doing with Airbus. Have you seen it other than
They gave
that?
they gave another example for, it was more of a, determining an optimal layout of like a small development.
Oh, this
So
is
we're going to
the
do
site plan.
Yeah, it was a site planning. So all
Okay,
right, well here's
sure.
here's where we need to put the different services.
Like a
and-
flow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
a priori is the third example, I think, of what we saw in terms of the generative, because that was embedded with the generative scheme.
Right.
I mean, there are some uniques about what we've seen over the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
know
the-
enough about Altair Inspire, right? Because Altair's been working, they've been doing topology optimization and stuff longer than anyone because they've had that
Right.
available
Yeah,
since the
they have.
90s.
Inspire is more of it's still a geometry focused.
Right, but it's also manufacturing process focused, so you can.
That's true.
You can
You can
generate.
define constraints.
You can generate, things that you can machine, or generate things that you can
Forge.
cast, or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the thing with Siemens that I see is a little bit different is it's the HEEDS engine,
Yeah.
which is a little bit more generic in it. They're
It's
trying
much
to
more of a
abstract
systems.
that
It's
up.
more of a systems engineering optimization type view
Yeah.
than what Siemens is doing.
Yes.
Good. Well, thanks very much. I think we've gone on for probably far too long for anybody to continue watching. But
If you're still here, thank you.
All right.
if we still,
Thanks for
if
watching.
you're still here, thanks for
Thanks,
Allan
Mark.
Behrens,
Jim Brown.
Chad Jackson.
Stan Przybylinski.
and it's thanks from them and thanks from me. Cheers. Bye bye.